Now, together, China, Mexico, and Canada accounted for more than 40% of imports into the US last year. And for more on this, I'm joined by Wang Wen in Beijing, who's Dean and Professor at the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University. He was also the former chief opinion editor for the Chinese Communist Party's English language daily, The Global Times. I'm also joined by Laura Jones, CEO of the Business Council of British Columbia, which represents over 200 businesses across the province. Thank you both for joining me. Wang Wen, I want to come to you first and get a better understanding of how we should read into China's somewhat muted response, saying they'll go to the WTO and that they will impose some sort of countermeasures, but without much detail.
Yeah, firstly, I think Trump's policy of imposing a tariff is very foolish. And few economists would agree that this tariff policy can truly make America great again. But I have to say, on the other hand, that Trump's tariff policy cannot prevent China from continuing to rise. To be honest, last week, most Chinese people did not care much about Trump's imposition of 10% tariff on China, because Chinese people are now immersed in the atmosphere of peace and reunion during the 7-day holiday of the Spring Festival. And this precisely reflects that the confidence and the confidence of Chinese society towards the U.S. Containment policy. The Chinese are not afraid of Trump's tariff policy, because 8 years ago, Trump's tariff policy toward China failed. And this time, I believe it will also be failed.
Wang Wen, how do you think China will respond with this then? Do you think that they will go like for like Canada has done? Tell us a bit more about the lessons that it learned from the last time Trump imposed tariffs. Do you think they'll pursue sort of other avenues of doing business with other countries?
China will definitely retaliate against Trump's tariff policy. But I do not believe that such countermeasures would repeat the trade war of 2018, because China has many countermeasures against Trump, such as reducing exports of rare earth resources to the United States. But a more important approach is that China would further expand its trade with other partners, such as ASEAN, EU, Russia. As the world's largest trading nation, China has extremely strong international competitiveness. For China, the United States remains one of the most important trading partners, but its importance is declining. In 2018, trade with the United States accounted for 18% of China's total trade, but now it's only 11%. Trump's 10 tariff increase means $15 billion. This will not affect China's total trade value of $6 trillion at all. So in short, I think China has enough full experience in dealing with Trump in the future.
And one last question, Wang Wen, back to you, just to get your thoughts on what Laura was saying there about sort of the narrative that Trump is pushing, that this is punishing other countries, but in fact will end up punishing Americans.
Yeah, I agree with my Canadian friend, because actually Trump cannot make America great again. For China's side, in Trump's previous terms, China did not lose in the training war and high-tech war launched by Trump 8 years ago. And on the contrary, China total trade value is still growing, and its total surplus with the United States is also increasing in the past 8 years, especially Huawei, whose revenue has reached a new high. And more importantly, in the past few years, more new high-tech companies have emerged in China, such as TikTok and DeepSeek and so on. So that's what I want to say, that Trump 1.0 did not defeat China. And the Trump 2.0 era is also less likely to lose to China.